I think it also really debunks this whole idea of just turn your brain off and enjoy the movie. Because this movie doesn't require you to turn your brain off, but it's still lighthearted spectacle, right? It's not like a deep study of anything. It's still spectacle. It's still fun. It's still a thrill ride. But it also all makes sense, and you like the characters, and they've got stuff going on. Like every character has a thing, and there's an overall there's themes to it. And whenever I see something like Godzilla X Kong or something where it's just stuff for 2.5 hours. Like at that point, I wish I was watching Pacific Rim, because it's just better on every front, and you don't have to sacrifice fun for good characters or vice versa.
Yeah.
Right. And this movie just like if anybody's ever thought that, just watch Pacific Rim and see how not true that is, and how a truly good movie can deliver on all fronts and not just CGI fights. And how the CGI fights get better because you care about the people, right?
Like you said, like, there's nothing super deep here or like super groundbreaking in terms of like what they're doing here. It's just like they understand that they've just like meshed together the huge spectacle that people want to see with just like a simple enough story for you to kind of like follow and get behind. So this is all we ask for. So new movies. Yeah. It's a common trend in a lot of like the films that we talked about, from this year in terms of like. Yeah, I guess, but like the story is just like super weak, or like the story's not been thought through.
Or the action is not imaginative, or it's all phoned in, or it's all just cliches. Like movies like Pacific Rim show you that movies can be better. And like this is not a masterpiece, right? A masterpiece this is not The Godfather. This is not Citizen Kane or any movie that would be considered high art or something, or sophisticated cinema or anything like that. But here. Every piece just works, and it's there for a reason, and it's there to support the other pieces, and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I think that's just what I would call a proper movie, and that is why I call it one of my favorite movies, because there's flaws here, right? Like no movie is perfect, but there's nothing that breaks the movie or that drags it down, or where you say, well, this had potential, but like there's no aspect of this movie where you have to say that. You don't have to make excuses for it. You don't have to ignore anything. It just works. Yeah. And all too often, like we have just a bunch of movies like this. On the action front, we had Godzilla X Kong, we had Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. In the horror front, we had things like Imaginary, Night Swim, where you just say, well, there's just no idea here. There's nothing here where you say, wow, this is cool. And this and no intentionality. It's just a collection of pieces, and obvious pieces usually. But then the counter often is, but it's just a movie, or what do you expect, or this is how these movies are. No, it can be better.
Yeah. No, agreed.